Hey Brianna, we are
have
live.
Some wonderful pollinators in the garden. Maybe if we have time, we could show them.
Let's show them real quick. Let's do it.
Now? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Well,
I think this is a non-native ladybug right here. But we have pollinators out the wazoo right now.
Oregano.
The oregano? Let's go check out the oregano.
The oregano has tons and tons of baby ladybug larvae.
Look at that. Ladybug pupa, ladybug larva.
There's a bee over here.
Yeah. When you don't spray pesticides, all the beneficial insects come. Also, Hannah's here.
Hello.
Hannah's picking up some herbs for one of our projects.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the project really quick? Oh, look at that one. What's it doing? Well,
Do you want to do? Or should I say something?
is it like coming out or is it pupating? What is it doing?
Oh,
That's so cool. It's just like shaking.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I saw a bunch of the molts on the chamomile, so it's possible.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I got some wonderful herbs right there.
Or
Chamomile.
chamomile.
And some lavender. You're dehydrating herbs, right? Can you tell us about the project, Hannah?
Yeah, I'm basically working on a potential product for the MMC. We're looking into making tea bags. And I'm working on, dehydrating a lot of herbs, and I've been working on also dehydrating fruits such as apples and, citrus fruits.
Awesome.
Limes, oranges.
Awesome. Well, I think your project's going to go well this year because we're going to have lots of limes and lots of lemons.
I would love that.
I can already tell we've set a ton of fruit on these trees. So,
I would love that.
oh yeah. What we're actually going to do today is we're going to plant something called a guild around our lime tree. So what is a guild? I'm sure you guys have heard of companion planting before, right? So guilds are kind of like a very advanced form of companion planting. So people oftentimes think of companion planting as, oh, I'm going to plant some nasturtiums or some marigolds next to my tomatoes so that I'll have less pest problems because the nasturtiums will draw the aphids away from the tomatoes, or the marigolds will prevent nematodes in the soil. And yeah, that's like very basic, a very basic form of companion planting. We just pair like maybe 2 or 3 plants together that grow well or provide benefits to each other. So a guild is a much more advanced form of that, where you're not only just pairing plants that are able to benefit each other, but you're creating a whole assemblage of plants that essentially form a tiny little ecosystem. They all provide services to one another and support each other mutually. And this is something, guilds are a concept that are extensively used within the field of permaculture gardening, which is gardening based off of the principles of permaculture design. I have an amazing book to show you guys if you want to learn a bit about that. I was studying this last night in preparation for the live stream today. Gaia's Garden tells you how to design a permaculture garden. So, and we're going to be applying some of the permaculture principles here in the wellness garden. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to do some guilds. There's a section here that talks about guilds. So guild plant functions. So in a guild, each plant serves one or more functions. So we have a list of common functions right here. Air purification, erosion control, flood management, insectary plant, which attracts beneficial insects, mulch makers, nitrogen fixers, which fixes nitrogen from the atmosphere and gets it into the soil, nutrient accumulators, which draw nutrients up from deeper in the subsoil and bring them to the surface. So essentially, like, we'll include a number of these plants that at least one of a plant that serves, a certain function that we need to have. You might not need to have all these functions in every guild, but some of the real essential ones are mulch makers, nitrogen fixers, nutrient accumulators, pest repellents, and insectaries. I would say those are the most important ones. And you might want to also have like wildlife habitat. If you live in a very windy area, you might want to plant a windbreak. So yeah, basically that's kind of like a rundown of what guilds are. And if we flip through this, there's a couple diagrams. Let's see now. So you kind of see, like in a forest garden, how you kind of structure it. You plant the trees, and then you plant things underneath and around the trees.
Wow.
So what we're going to be doing with our lime tree today. We're going to be planting a guild. So let's talk about our plants. Let's head over here. I didn't bring a shovel, did I? That's a problem. Well, we'll get it in a second. We need to get some tools. Anyways, here are some of our plants that we're going to be planting around this lime tree. So the first one, and probably one of the most classic plants used for this purpose, this one right here. We're going to be closer. This is called Comfrey. So what is Comfrey? Comfrey is one of these nutrient accumulators. Comfrey has a taproot that I have read can go down to up to 12 feet deep into the soil and pull up nutrients from all the way down there and bring it to the surface in the leaves. And then multiple times per year you can chop off the leaves and use them as a mulch. And now those nutrients that this plant mined from way deep in the soil are on the surface where the trees' feeder roots can access them. So you're essentially growing your own fertilizer here. And in the Gaia's Garden book, there's a table showing which nutrients exactly Comfrey is very good at extracting, because each of these nutrient accumulators will sort of like extract a different nutrient profile for the soil. The science on this is not exactly settled, but there's good evidence showing that plants like this could be used for this purpose. And so people have used them for this purpose very successfully. I have in my own garden. So that's Comfrey. We got some Roman chamomile. So Roman chamomile is just like your standard German chamomile, except it is a perennial, which means it will grow and continue growing year after year after year. It's not a one and done plant. It's not an annual. So it'll stay in the ground. Another good accumulator we're going to put is Yarrow. So Yarrow is actually native to California. We definitely want to use Yarrow. And not only is Yarrow a nutrient accumulator, it is an insectary. Yarrow attracts many different kinds of beneficial insects that may prey upon certain pests that will attack fruit trees. I believe it's very good at attracting parasitoid wasps, which I believe prey on scale. Another one that we are doing, what happened to my clover? I was going to talk about the clover. Well, we'll talk about the beans then. So we're actually going to be doing pole beans underneath the fruit tree as well. These are blue lake pole beans, and we also got scarlet runner beans down there. And our beans are our legumes, which are our nitrogen fixers. So they're going to get nitrogen into the system so that the tree can access it. And what else? We got our pest repellents, which in this case would be Nasturtium. So Nasturtium is a pest repelling, repels certain pests, attracts others away from adjacent plants, which is, I think they call it a pest trap or a trap plant or something. Yeah, then we just have some wildflowers we're going to sow in, and then we have so right here some mugwort, and mugwort is a medicinal herb and an excellent insectary plant. Yeah, that's what we'll be doing. So
Was that the clover right there in that bag?
which bag? Is there a bag that I'm missing? Those are the scarlet runner beans. I'm not sure where I put the clover. Let's go find the clover. And we need to start preparing our seed mix anyways. I know I put the clover out here somewhere. If not around here, maybe I left it in the shed and I thought that I got it. Nope, I definitely took the clover. Do you want to see if you can find the clover, Brianna? I'm not sure what I did with it. It's New Zealand white clover. It should be in a pound bag. 1 pound bag.
Well, there was a bag you had over there, but it was a mix.
Yeah, the bag that I have right here is the Blue Lake pole beans.
Oh, there's a big brown bag.
A big brown bag? Where?
More there.
That's the Blue Lake pole beans.
No,
Unless there's a bigger one.
the one that has different.
This one?
Yeah, that's not it.
These are pole beans.
Oh.
I'm not sure what I did with it. Am I going crazy? Maybe. Oh, there it is. Okay. I knew I put it somewhere.
Not crazy.
Yeah. New Zealand white clover. Like Dutch white clover, except lower growing and more drought tolerant. Also a nitrogen fixer. So we can prune this back multiple times per year and use it as a mulch. And it's going to get nitrogen into the soil for the fruit tree. Awesome. So, yeah. Got the clover. Basically the clover and the yarrow and the wildflowers are just going to go in a mix. We're going to sow it around the perimeter, and everything else will be planted in certain spots that I have selected based upon what are called sectors. And sectors are sort of like your outside influencing forces that I guess enter your guild. So, for example, the sun is right there. It's this way. So, this is south, right here. So, we're going to be getting sun over here. Comfrey and our pole beans can benefit from the sun. So, we're going to put the comfrey and the pole beans on the south side. The mugwort is tolerant of shade. So, we're going to put the mugwort on the north side. Yarrow and the wildflower should be able to tolerate shade. And since we're sowing a mix of wildflowers, whichever ones will do best in the shade versus the sun will grow best in that environment. So we're kind of like, by introducing that diversity, we'll end up with the outcome that we want to get by itself. Letting nature decide and do the work. Yeah, and then we got our nasturtiums. So the nasturtiums I'm putting on the east side because nasturtiums are sensitive to heat and they'll benefit more from the morning sun. And the Roman chamomile, I'm going to take a wild guess with this one. I'm not very familiar with this plant, but since it's from Rome, Italy, a Mediterranean climate, it should have a significant amount of heat tolerance. And then the Scarlet runner beans don't have a lot of heat tolerance, so we're going to put them on the backside and just let them climb up the lime tree.
It looks kind of blurry when you don't have a person in the frame.
Yeah, it looks blurry. Yeah, it's because of the compression. Yeah, so let's start. Let's get a shovel and a fork to rough up the soil.
Okay. It's almost Earth Day.
It is almost Earth Day. Why don't you guys drop in the comments what you're going to be doing for Earth Day to benefit our home planet? I mean, I do stuff to benefit the planet every day, but, on Earth Day, we want to do a little extra. Okay, so there's the fabric right there. We're going to pull that aside a bit. Now, this soil is definitely in need of some love. It looks better than it probably was originally, but it's still very chunky. There's like some rock cement. What is that, cement? But we're gonna throw the comfrey in there. Look at that. It's like sandy.
Yeah.
I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. So what I would actually like to do is dig the holes first and then fill them up with a bit of water and let it drain. Yeah, I would love for you to help Brianna. Yeah, so we're gonna fill it up with some water and let the water soak in. That way we'll be able to get some extra moisture going. I'm gonna try and not knock over the tripod here. Let's see. Let's evacuate all the hot water. Oh, could you turn on the hose, please? Is the hose off? Oh wait, no, it's not. Never mind. It's just losing pressure.
Make sure this is in the frame.
We don't want to have an issue. Well, we've already started to plant some things underneath the fruit trees. I've got some beans and nasturtiums and peas underneath the other trees, but this is going to be a bit more, final and organized. There we go. Filled it up with water. We're going to let it drain a bit now. We're probably going to end up doing it a couple times, depending on how quickly it drains. If it takes forever, then we're only going to do it once. Yeah, this soil is pretty darn hard. Yeah, there's like some old concrete here or something. It's like sandy and, I wonder what was here. There we go. I'm seeing some feeder roots of the lime tree. Yeah, this is sandy right here. Not necessarily a bad thing. Thank you, Brianna.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to find a good angle here.
Let's get some water in here. Oh, that's draining a little bit. Good. What's that? We're not going to make any more holes, except on the back side. Let's do, we've already got these holes made. So for the mugwort, let's see now. I'm trying to think, because I want to space it out a bit. Let's do a hole right here. Oh shoot. It's like the soil is just so hard. But yeah, you know what I'll do? I'm just gonna pop these out and show you where they go. So right here. So basically, on the two corners in the front, Comfrey, 2 corners in the back, Mugwort.
Good tiny leaf blower, I know. The leaf blower, hopefully it stays over there so that way
Yeah.
can hear what we're doing.
And that's where the mugwort can go. And the mugwort will spread, so
okay, so
mugwort is a fantastic plant. I absolutely love mugwort tea. Probably not going to eat this mugwort. I don't know what's in the soil here, but you can still use it for mulch and as an insectary. And around some of the other trees, we're going to do the native mugwort. Let's make sure that we're in the frame here. I'm not sure if we are.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So yeah, we'll fill up those holes. Yeah, it's draining pretty well, which is good. So I think I filled up 2 times. And this is a technique I learned from my friend who is a native plant expert. His name is Sebastian. And he told me that when you're planting native plants, you want to fill up your planting hole 5 times to replenish the groundwater. And we'll fill it up. We'll do the Comfrey last, and we'll fill it up however many times we can. So let me get a couple supplies. I'll be right back. We'll do it for the mugwort too.
Well, while he's gone, I will say that next, so we're doing an event with Hillel 818, and it's going to be next Thursday, so on Earth Day at 4 p.m. and we're going to be doing a seed bomb making activity, as well as there's going to be a short presentation that talks about like food waste and ways you can minimize food waste and utilize any food waste to help benefit the environment. And it's going to be fun. So I think the MMC either already posted the flyer. I think they did both. Even though I've been in the garden so many times, bees still like get to me. Let me see if they posted the flyer already. Okay, yes, they did. The bouquet dill. So we're going to be doing seed bombs with dill.
Yes.
And
so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's going to be a really fun event with Hillel 818.
Yes.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I was just talking about that while you were gone. There's also another programming thing that's happening is the weight management workshop series. We just had the first one last Friday, and then we have another one this coming Friday, and it's going to have a food demo. So yeah, that's currently what else is happening. You can also check out our website. We have all the events posted on there. Did I do that too deep?
Let me see. That's fine. That's perfect. Yeah, I'd fill it up with water now. I'm just preparing the seeds. And it's going to be a bit oversown, but I think that's okay. I'll save the rest for the other fruit trees. Yes. Yep, I'm trying here. This is a bit of a cramped situation. Alright, also, I want to point out real quick, that's not the cover.
How much water do I add? Okay. How much water do I add?
Just fill it up.
I'm not going to drown the plant.
Well, the point was to fill up the holes first, and then put the plant in.
Okay.
It's alright.
So I did this backwards.
Yeah. Also, Clover Inoculant for our seeds. This is Yarrow, New Zealand white clover, and some wildflowers. This is going to be the ground cover around the tree. I've been doing this at my house too, with crimson clover. I did it around my fig tree the other week.
Wait, what does the clover do?
Clover is a nitrogen fixer.
Okay. Okay, well, I put that backwards.
And look at all those leaves. We should ask them for the leaves as a mulch.
I'm too shy to ask.
Mix that up. Mix it up. So now I'm going to add some compost to increase the volume. And shake it up real good, then we're going to spread it.
Talk a little bit about nutrition with lemons. Has a lot of antioxidants, and this is actually a Mexican lime tree. Our Meyer lemon tree is the other one back there, and yeah, you know what, I actually have not done that much research on lime as much as I have with other, you know, fruits, but I know lime is something very versatile that you can add to a lot of things, a lot of food and drink. I'm hoping I'm doing this one right.
Yeah, you're good.
I feel bad now. What if this one fails?
I don't think it'll fail.
Okay. And you know what? If it does, that's what gardening is. Trial and error sometimes.
You can teach every subject in the garden and solve all the world's problems in a garden.
Oh gosh. That is a bold statement there.
That's a Jeff Lawton quote. You can solve all the world's problems in a garden. I love that quote because it's true. At least on a small scale, you know. I wouldn't say you can solve world hunger in your garden. That's definitely a bit of a bold statement. And probably not true. Probably. This is sticking to the sides. This is our seed mix, so we're going to add more compost. We don't want that to happen.
Fruits are so delicate.
Yeah, because they were germinated in aquaponics and hydroponics.
Yeah.
Started in aquaponics, then went to hydroponics. Because that's what we had available. Let's mix these up. See, we're increasing the volume. Because I'm going to spread this across multiple fruit trees, not just this one today. We're going to use a certain amount of this for this fruit tree. because we don't want to sow it too densely. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I'm not sure what the appropriate seeding rate is exactly. But you know, usually if you have been gardening for a while, if you go with your instinct, you're good. Gardening is a lot about instincts and intuition, in my opinion. And gardening has really taught me to trust my instincts.
What is this growing over here?
Fava beans.
Oh.
It just came up for no reason. I don't know where it came from, it just came up. I definitely did not bring any fava beans here. See how it's getting nice and mixed. This is starting to look a lot better. You can do this to your fruit trees too. It's a great way to rely less on fertilizers and amendments and all that good stuff. So
yep.
Some more compost. I want to keep increasing the volume. I'm making sure we got everything coated with the inoculum. I think this inoculum also contains mycorrhiza, which is good. So, I mean,
they're loving this.
Yeah.
Freebie. That's a nice name to call it. It's a freebie.
What's a freebie?
Like free, like, you know, we're not gonna have to. I think that's what they meant, like fertilize anything, because we're just creating the.
We might still need fertilizer for a while, but eventually we shouldn't. It's an ecosystem that will take care of itself. We are creating an ecosystem within our garden.
Do you know what kind of bird that is?
Yes, that's an Oregon junco. I always see them here. They're really cute. They used to like eating the cover crop seeds until I started feeding them. Then they left them alone.
That was a cool experiment. I had bird seeds in my car, and then we had the whole bird situation, and I was like, you know what? Let's see if they eat the bird seeds instead of the cover crops, and our prediction worked.
Yeah, that's pretty nicely mixed. It's good to get some compost on your seeds. All that biology. In my opinion, one of the biggest benefits of compost, again, is the biology. So
yeah.
Let's, so we got our holes. Let's rough up the soil a bit.
I'm gonna put this more in the shade.
Let's give it a little. As you can see, it has more organic matter in some spots as opposed to others. Very interesting. Let's fill these guys up one more time.
It is interesting. Like this side is very dry versus that side.
Yeah, absolutely. You know why? Why do you think that is, Brianna? Why do you think this side is drier than that side?
Okay, I have multiple predictions. One, it could be because of the sun, like the way that it rises.
That's the only reason.
Oh, really?
The only real reason why.
Okay.
I don't think wind is going to have much of an effect here. And also you get shade on that side. See, and see if we take these things into consideration when we're planting, that we know where to put our plants. Our design that we're making falls into place by itself. See, that's why we're putting the Comfrey over there, because it wants more sun. Mugwort back here because it wants less sun. And the Nasturtiums right here because it'll do better with the morning sun. The Roman Chamomile over there because it'll do better with the afternoon sun. And the pole beans right here because they'll be able to climb up and do well in the full sun. And the Scarlet runner beans over here because they'll need less sun in the summer, and they're a longer lived plant than the pole beans. So they'll benefit in the long run from being more shaded, in my opinion. So we'll see how accurate my prediction is. Yeah, basic idea. So I need you to do me a favor, Brianna. Could you take out some of these nasturtiums and soak them in water for a little bit?
Sure.
I think you're supposed to soak these for 24 hours. That's too many.
Okay.
Well, now that we have too many, we're going to throw it.
Now we're gonna see later on they're gonna.
This is perfect. we're going to spread them all right here. Just throw them in water, please. Aquaponic water, honestly. I always use aquaponic water because it has biology and a little bit of nutrients. So yeah, let's do our seed mix. I'm going to try and move the hose around a bit here. And I want to rough up the other side. Where is my, here it is. Let's move this out of the way. Ecological gardening. Let's move these wood chips aside. So, note about clover. Normally, you know, if you have gophers, you want to be careful with clover because it can attract gophers. But on the lawn over there, on the lawn, we have some Dutch white clover, and there are no gophers. Yeah, good point. 24-hour versus 24-minute experiment. Honestly, 24 hours seems to be the way to go. With Nasturtium, I've read that on packets before. Of Nasturtiums.
How long does this out for?
You should try it, Sparrow 077. However, I will warn you, it's difficult. It's always good to try hydroponics first, especially organic hydroponics. I love both aquaponics and organic hydroponics, but I like aquaponics more.
Is it because of the fish?
Of course.
You're biased?
It's also a more balanced ecosystem than organic hydroponics. I think you could scoot that guy a bit forward. It's a bit crooked.
This one?
Yes.
Sure.
Be careful with feeder roots. I don't think we'll have many problems with feeder roots here, but still got to be careful. The tree's feeder roots. The idea is get the compost and stick to the seeds. And the seeds and stick to the compost. And sow the seeds.
That's the yarrow?
Yarrow, clover, wildflowers. See, we have more left. We're going to use it on the other trees. Later, after the live stream, we won't have time to get to that this time. Oh, shoot. Alright, so that's good. Now we can inoculate and sow the beans. I have bean inoculant. So I'm going to go get that.
Hey.
I realized I did these crooked too. Actually, you know what? Where you have it is fine. Let's just leave it. It's not a big deal. It'll fill in nicely. We'll be able to adjust it. I'm getting bean inoculant.
Okay.
We do have beans growing underneath the fig trees, and they're doing well. So I know that beans can grow in our native soil all right. Gaia's Garden also talks about the 7 layers of the forest, of a food forest. You have your canopy trees, your understory trees, your shrubs, your herbaceous layer, your roots, and your vines. I think that's 7, right? Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4. Let's do 4. We don't want it to be too dense. I think 8 seeds is good. 2 per hole. 4 holes altogether. Bean inoculant. Just gonna coat the seeds.
See, my issue at home, I think I plant too much in one area.
Yeah, I have that problem sometimes. I'm not perfect.
I couldn't throw away my squash seedlings. I'm like, no. So I just planted them. Even though they were probably a little crowded, but...
Yep. You don't want to put it too close to the comfrey because the comfrey is going to spread. The soil here is nice and soft. I saw the soil in this spot, you know, was a bit improved. So I'm like, okay, this is a good spot for the beans since it has more organic matter. And I think beans like to have a little bit more organic matter in the soil. They're not exactly pioneer plants, even though they're nitrogen fixers, at least I don't think. At least not in this situation. But maybe in the summer we can put some of my Perry beans here, which is like a desert species, and see if they do better. But not yet. Not yet. Okay, there are the beans. They're in.
I love that tool. I think I need to get that tool.
Which one?
To make the holes, because my nails keep getting...
Yeah, seed dippers are cool. Next, we'll do the scarlet runner beans. Scarlet runner beans are great great pollinator plants.
Wait, where are the nasturtiums gonna be?
Right on that side. Just sprinkle them. Let's do that at the end.
Okay.
Yes, next, scarlet runner beans. I think this is going to be a fruitful guild, literally. Okay, scarlet runner bean seeds right here. You may want to move the camera to show me planting them. These have big seeds.
Whoa.
I think we'll do one. We'll do 3 plants. I think that's going to be okay for the scarlet runner beans because these, I think, are bigger plants than regular beans.
Yeah, those look huge.
I'm not sure how well they'll do in the native soil here, but we'll see. This is all an experiment as well. I know I seem like I know what I'm doing, but I only kind of know what I'm doing. I think this will turn out great overall. Make a nice big hole for those guys. I think you want the holes to be like twice the size of the seed.
Oh, I totally forgot. We have questions.
We have questions.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay,
We can answer the questions.
so... Okay. What will keep weeds from growing around my trees?
Mulch. Zero answer.
What is the best ground cover for fruit trees?
Depends on your situation.
Oh.
I don't pretend to know the answer to that. My answer is depends on your situation. I can tell you what I'm trying. I'm trying crimson clover. I'm trying Dutch white clover. I'm trying yarrow. I know Nasturtium works really well. Nasturtium is like fantastic. Try miner's lettuce if you're growing in the winter. What else? There's like another one that I'm missing that I've heard people talk about and use. If you're in a warmer climate, like a higher USDA zone, try Pinto Peanut. It requires a lot of water, but it's used in the tropics as a nitrogen fixing ground cover for fruit trees. Pinto Peanut.
Huh. Okay.
Same genus as peanut. Another one that I've been looking at is called Bambara bean. It's from Africa. It's in the same family as as the cowpea, the black-eyed pea. So try a Bambara bean as well. And of course Comfrey. Comfrey is kind of like a ground cover. It's more of like a little shrub, a little herb. 3 feet wide, 3 feet tall. But Comfrey is like people's top choice for growing underneath fruit trees, and that's why we're planting it. It's because it's this accumulator. It makes these wonderful tender leaves that make a fantastic mulch. But for our climate, the one that I've seen be the most successful is definitely Nasturtiums.
Okay. How close can I plant my fruit trees? That one depends, huh?
How close can you plant your fruit trees?
Yeah.
I actually don't know the answer to that. I think I think you might want to Google that one. Can you move the camera,
Yeah.
please?
This one says, can I transplant a fruit tree? Yes, I've just did that.
Absolutely. I would do it in the winter.
Oh, okay. Well, we did not do it in the winter.
Well, winter, early spring. Now is probably like your last chance. Oh, let's get this out of the sun. That should not be in the sun.
Which fruit trees attract the most pests?
Citrus have a lot of pests. Watch out for the Huang Long Bing disease, citrus greening disease. That's a big problem right now, especially in like Riverside counties and OC. There's our Comfrey. Comfrey's in.
Woo!
Light dusting. Oh, Nasturtiums. It's time.
Okay, I'm gonna sit this down then, and then. Okay.
Gonna cover it
did you
very,
plant
very lightly.
Roman chamomile?
What's that? Oh yeah, we forgot about the Roman chamomile.
Where should I?
Let's do that. Since that's a perennial, I'm gonna sow it in one spot.
Okay.
That's right here. And after this, we need to clear the area and give everything a very thorough watering in. I'm gonna guess Roman chamomile has tiny seeds. Have you seen the seed packet?
It's right here.
Okay, thanks. Usually something in the aster family that has small flowers has very tiny seeds. Chamomile is definitely not an exception to that rule. Oh yeah, these are like yarrow seeds. They're that tiny.
Let's see.
These are tiny. A
Whoa.
bunch of them came out.
Looks
It's
like
like way
pepper.
too many. Well,
You can use that for tea?
yeah, it's like chamomile. It's supposed to be not as good as regular chamomile, as German, but it's a perennial. So, and because it's a perennial, we're gonna be able to get a lot of benefit out of growing it. You like this as compost. All right, we water it in, and now this fruit tree is gilded up. Do you get the nasturtiums in?
No, not yet.
Let's do that last then. I think the nasturtiums we're going to want to actually dip them in. And I've seen nasturtium seeds fall on the ground, and a couple for
Oh man. We always have nasturtiums coming up here, huh?
Yeah, it's
They just come up.
it seems to like to soak in the rainwater and then germinate. So yeah, we gotta make sure that we keep this nice and moist, because otherwise our ground covers are not going
This
to
is the
germinate.
mugwort, right?
Yeah, let's water everything in. I think that's it.
Okay, I'm just cleaning up.
Give it a nice thorough soaking. And we're using dechlorinated water again. This chlorine kills the soil microbes you want to have. The biology, soil biology is very, 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 very important. Its importance is oftentimes vastly understated.
Okay, let's get through these questions meanwhile.
Yeah, let's do the question.
How can I prevent an infestation of unwanted pests?
By planting a diversity of insectary plants, I would say is the best way to do it. Because then what you're going to do is attract lots of beneficial insects. And your beneficial insects will handle the pests for you. If you need an immediate solution, you're having a really bad infestation, find whatever organic insecticide is right for your situation, and then spray it very carefully, very sparingly. I would do it in the afternoon, late afternoon, when a lot of your beneficial insects have become less active, because you don't want to harm them.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. What diseases are common to fruit trees?
So there are lots of diseases for fruit trees. Anthracnose, viral diseases, fusarium. For citrus, you have Huang Long Bing. That's becoming very common. It's fatal. And then you just get pests. I've seen leaf hoppers, scale insects.
Okay.
All sorts of things.
Yeah, I think a better question would have been like...
Yeah, more specific questions are helpful. The more
Okay.
specific you can be, the better I can answer your question.
What factors should I consider when companion planting? I guess
Consider the functional group that your plants belong to. And this is something that you may have to research, but there are several major functional groups, and we sort of went over them at the beginning of this live stream when we took a look at Gaia's garden. Obviously food producing is a functional group, but also nitrogen fixation, nutrient accumulation, exudate producing, therefore like plants that feed the soil, insectary plants, fumigators which repel pests. Like if you're companion planting, you want to have at least one plant of all the major functional groups in your planting. So, and then some plants like Comfrey, like Nasturtium, like Mugwort, and like many fruit trees will occupy more than one of these groups at a time.
Yep. I think you already talked about the benefits of companion planting.
Yeah, hopefully this is good. Hopefully I didn't just ruin all the seeds.
I know, I'm like, look at the poor mugwort that I planted.
Yeah, we want to give this one a little bit more breathing room. You see, the problem here is the medium it was planted in, but we want to cover this guy up with some soil from the area and help it stand up. So keeping these guys watered is going to be quite important over the next couple days. In an ideal situation, we would have done this on Monday because it's hard for us to come in on the weekends, but it's okay. I think they'll be all right. The soil in California is actually pretty good at retaining moisture, so I think we'll be okay. All right. Well, that's our guild that we've constructed.
Yes.
And everything should start coming up soon. We'll begin seeing it within a week or two.
Look at that sunflower from a distance.
My instinct is telling me I should sow more of the mix because I might have dislodged some of it. So I'm going to put a little bit more just around.
The wildflowers?
Yeah, the ground cover. The ground cover mix. That's fine. We still have plenty for the other fruit trees. We'll do the apple tree next.
Apple tree. Oh, this apple tree.
I figured, we'd be able to do a couple of them today. Where's my mask down?
You're getting too comfortable. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, there we go. We're all done. What time is it?
It is 1:52.
1:52. So we have some time. Q&A time. And water time for me.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions about guilds or...
Yes. So again, can I see? A guild is an ecosystem of edible plants. So what are pioneer plants? Pioneer plants are plants that reestablish an ecosystem after a disturbance. So they perform functions that are pretty much geared towards repairing the soil. And there are a number of ways that is done. Some plants will feed the microbes in the soil directly. Others will fix nitrogen. Others will produce large amounts of organic matter, and so on and so forth. So pioneer plants are the ones responsible for restoring an ecosystem. They're your weeds. Many weeds are pioneer plants. But yes, and also I wanted to say that, yeah, guilds are an ecosystem of plants that you create in your garden. And each plant performs a specific function that supports the others. And so that's what we've done here. We've established a guild. Hopefully it grows in nicely. Those mugwort seedlings look pretty fragile.
I know. They even do a good job.
Yeah, mugwort is definitely a very weedy plant. It can grow in poor soil, so I think it'll do okay as long as it makes it in. So, same with comfrey. Comfrey is actually invasive in moister climates in the Pacific Northwest, but not here. So we don't want to plant invasive plants here. So, anyways, we'll just take another quick tour of the garden while we're wrapping up. Here are the ones we planted recently. They're taking some time to get established. The transition from hydroponics into soil can be a bit rough.
They're a little yellow.
Yeah, they are. So we'll see how they do. I might give them a little bit more seaweed extract this week. That might help them along, but they are putting down roots. They're looking a bit better.
Yeah, they're producing new leaves.
And some of the flowers that I sowed are coming up. We're going to start getting some flowers. The okra looks like it's putting out new leaves. The amaranth, I don't know. Worst comes to worst, we'll replace these guys with something else. I'm more concerned about the ones in the middle than the ones on the sides. So, chamomile's coming out today. These cover crops are coming out today. Oh, no way, there's a potato. That's right, I put a potato in here.
What?
Yeah, this is a potato. Let's harvest the potato. Let's do it. We're probably not going to get much, but...
Let's see the potato.
Yeah, this is the one that was planted. Doesn't look like we got anything yet. I mean,
like
you see there's a little one growing right there. It was growing off of it. So we're going to do our peppers and beans in here. Peppers and bush beans. And this can go in the compost or be chopped and dropped. But now that we've gotten the cover crop in here for a while, I think it's ready. So we're going to terminate this next. It's important to get the peppers in soon. So yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
Well, thanks everybody.
Let's show them the cover crops we planted 2 weeks ago before we go.
Oh, the ones over here?
Yeah, they're coming through. I sowed in some more bush beans today because it looks like not enough of the nitrogen fixtures came up. And this bed is nitrogen deficient, so we want to make sure we get plenty of nitrogen fixtures in here. We've got some sunflower right here. This looks like a cowpea that's coming up. This is buckwheat, Nasturtium. We've got our grasses coming up, our brassicas. So we've got a good mix of stuff coming up. Those are, no, that's buckwheat. Buckwheat is a phosphorus accumulator, or solubilizer. It's essentially an accumulator of phosphorus. It's very good at solubilizing phosphorus in the soil. So when you chop and drop your buckwheat, you're going to be making phosphorus available to other plants in your soil. And that's what it's used for even in commercial situations. That's probably guar bean.
Wow.
That's a legume, but we weren't getting enough legumes coming up, so that's why I put some more in. And I'm not sure what this guy is right here. That might actually be safflower. But we're looking good. Warm season cover crops, baby. Fixing up the soil.
This one was, I'm excited to see the transformation.
This was supposed to be a pollinator mix, but I'm pretty sure I got sent a soil builder mix instead. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. But that's okay. It'll work out either way. It's going to be good for the soil. It's going to get huge. It's going to get huge. And then when after we terminate it, we'll put in potatoes. We'll do potatoes here.
It's going to be potato bed?
Yeah, after the cover crops.
We
the
can
potatoes.
call it Mr. Potato Bed.
Mr. Potato Bed. All right.
All right. Thank you guys
Thanks.
for joining our live today. I'll be doing a solo one next week.
Yeah.
So I'll figure out what we're going to talk about. But
Yeah, you should do wheatgrass.
yeah, I could talk about wheatgrass.
know
I
you're
need to
really
get
interested
some
in wheatgrass.
seeds. Yes, I love it because, well, okay,
Can you just use any kind of wheat seed for it, or is it specifically wheatgrass?
it's wheatgrass. It's specific, but the only issue I'm having, because normally you make wheatgrass shots, so you're supposed to juice it, but for some reason the juicer I have at home got ruined. It doesn't do well with grassy things or with celery, like things that are stringy. So I need to see what kind of juicer I need, or maybe I'll just blend it and then I don't know. But it grows really fast and it has a lot of nutritional benefits, which is why I love it so much. So I'll probably talk about that, and maybe the dill, since that's what we'll be doing next week, the seed bombs with the dill. So,
Yeah, dill's a fun one.
yes, I'm growing some at home.
Dill with it.
Deal with it.
Dill
I
with
love that. Deal with it. Yes. Alrighty. Bye, everyone.
See you later.
Okay.